Yeah, they made a movie, and this is, it's like they played all these songs, and then oh man, yeah, they played all these songs, and then this is like, yeah, he can't get back to, he doesn't speak Spanish because he's born in East LA, and he got deported.
Funny.
And he's trying to get back to L.A. and he doesn't speak Spanish, and he's trying to.
Send him to Mexico or something?
And Daniel Stern was in it. Daniel Stern's like this fugitive who went to Mexico.
No way!
To get
really?
to get away from.
Weird.
And he's like the donkey or whatever they call those guys. He's the guy who
does everything.
Right. So. He's trying to get him back and have him do all these odd jobs, and then he has him teach English to other than Spanish people who are in Mexico trying to get to.
Oh, cool.
So they're all trying to come to America, and then he walks across the hill, and then the border agents take a picture. The border agent takes a picture of him, and then all of a sudden, like about 30,000 people come up, and then they come up over this hill. And they're like, they can't get them all, so they used to the mules, and then they play this song as they're coming over the hill.
They play Neil.
They play a little Neil. They don't play the intro. They play this. Here we go. He's coming over the hill.
Oh.
So you see Cheech Marin and like 30,000 Mexicans coming over the hill. There's no wall.
That reminds me of a story. I went down to Baja one time with some friends, and we went camping down there. And we were down for a week doing some spearfishing and hanging out on the beach and stuff. But when we came back to Los Angeles, of course we had to go through the border to get there. But man, I'll never forget. I was looking as we were driving down the road, and it's just like a 2-lane road, and the hill, you can kind of see the hill kind of going down. And next thing I know, there's like this little flea, because it was so far away, it comes out in the middle of the road and stops. And there was another one that came out on just opposite of him, just maybe, I don't know, a little bit, so many yards in front of him. Next thing I know, as we're getting closer to this little speck, it's not a speck, it's an actual, illegal immigrant trying to cross in the border. They stop traffic, northbound, southbound, stop it, and all these people start cruising across the street, and they actually stopped traffic for these people to cross the road. Couldn't believe it. Saw it with my own eyes. Unbelievable.
And which you were on the U.S. side?
Yeah, no, we were in Mexico heading to the USA.
Well, you seen the signs on Interstate 5 coming from San Diego going north?
Just watch out.
LA.
You see that picture of a woman throwing her kid?
With her kid dragging behind. It's a actual warning sign for those of you who have never been.
People get hit, man. There's people running in the freeway. You're like, what the world are these people doing on the freeway?
They're coming to America.
They're coming to America.
Oh, welcome to America, ladies and gentlemen. From Mexico, thank you. Come on in.
They're coming to America.
That's what they're doing.
That was the weirdest thing I ever saw.
You know what they're doing, Cannonball?
They're coming to America.
No, wait, I don't know what you're saying. Really?
No, you don't. I'll tell you what they're doing.
What are they doing?
Coming to America.
You want to know when they're coming to America? You want to know when? I know when they're coming. Because
coming to America?
I know all.
Oh, really?
Yes.
When?
Let me think about it. How about... I think they're coming... That's when they're coming to America.
More like, hoy, hoy, hoy.
I gotta stand up.
Today, Neil, man, there's a crackling voice for you, sir.
You said crackling?
Crackling.
You said crackling rose?
Crackling rose.
That's a live version. Let's go with this one.
Yeah, I hate live versions of songs.
No, live versions of songs are actually pretty good, but not when you're trying to do a bit.
Yeah, and especially radio guys who know the original songs.
Actually, it's funny because I used to be the same way that you are. I couldn't stand live live versions, but I've come to the
I don't like them.
I've come to the point now where I actually like live versions better.
I've seen so many live shows. Of course, being a jock, I got tickets to every concert guy, anybody in radio or whatever who came through town anywhere. But I go to these shows. I'm like, I think I'd rather listen to the record, please, if you don't mind.
Yeah, because usually they suck. Some bands stink live. They're not very good.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. That's a true fact. Rosie Child.
Elwood, can you hear me?
Neil, man, I tried to see Neil, and I wanted to get tickets to that guy's show for almost 13, 14 years before you found me, Tim. I'm not kidding.
Neil Diamond?
Yeah, I never got to go, man. I used to call in every radio station, try to get tickets, never got them. Never won anything.
So now you know how it felt. See, now that's a good. Now you know how it felt, Mr. Radio Man. You know, you must be the 10th caller here at 591-5454, and we're gonna win a ticket to Neil Diamond, 10th caller. And you're always the guy on the other line. You're always a guy on the other line.
And the radio jock always takes caller number 9, and you're caller number 9. Who is this?
This is Millbob from down south.
Yeah, okay, well, guess what? You didn't win. Let's go to caller number 10. Who's the winner? So that makes him feel pretty good, of course. And the guy's like, you jerk.
So now you know how it felt. Now you know.
I was already there before I knew how it felt, so I knew before I knew.
Elwood says MTV Unplugged. That sucked. When they put those MTV Unplugs on tape, Elwood said that was bad. Well,
MTV Unplugged, that was pretty bad. They got Kurt Cobain doing the MTV Unplugged, and that was unplugged, man. Unplugged.
Unreal.
Unbelievable.
Except you do see, sometimes they'd have, some female artists in there, and you get to see.
Although now there's another jock here, or there was a jock from New York City who used to work on the Howard Stern show. He was here at this classic alternative station here in town, and he had a bunch of live, local, and some famous people. I guess, kind of, who are new, and they just started playing guitar right there in the studio live as they were, interviewing them, and then there you go. Now they're playing these live versions that were recorded in the studio there with the radio station. So there's some pretty good ones, I guess, my music taste had changed, too. I mean, I would never listen to any 80s at all. And I remember saying when I was the 60s guy, I think I played the Macarena, as we said, but I was like, I didn't mean to play a 90s song. Sorry.
I know.
I would never do such a thing.
Well, it's just, and I don't know if I've told this story on the CBK Radioland or not. Every once in a while you wonder if you're saying the same stories over and over and over again. But you know what? Nobody was listening the first time. And I know it's been a while since I've said this story. But when I was back on the Cruise FM, 94.1 FM, KRUZ, the most variety on water, I made that up, by the way. That was
I know. Yeah, good job.
Most variety on water. And that was true. That was a true statement. We weren't really lying there. It really was the most variety on water. Nonetheless, I was the best of the 70s and 80s with the Kuda. It wasn't even Tim Kuda. I dropped the Tim, replaced it with a the. So the Kuda instead of Tim Kuda. Should have been Tim Kuda, but it was the Kuda. Anyways, nonetheless.
That was much better for you than Tim.
I think Tim Kuda would have been better. Tim Kuda better. The
yeah,
Kuda.
But
The Kuda. The Kuda. The Kuda. Where is it? Where is it? I play this in 10 minutes.
It's Kuda all day.
See, there you go. It's Kuda all day. I could play that. I could play the original version. But nonetheless, I was best 70s and 80s. Somebody calls up and goes, hey, we want to hear Hootie and the Blowfish. Let her cry. I'm like, let it cry? No, let her cry. Let her cry? What do you mean? I don't even know what you're talking about. Hootie and the Blowfish? I go, what year is that from, bud?
Yeah, nice.
And he goes,